Good morning. Today's session will be discussing about how data is transferring inside the network clearly with the help of an animation video. Previous sessions we have discussed and you have learned about computer networks. It is a separate unit. I completed all the topics in computer networks. Actually, 2 chapters are there in that computer networks. In first chapter you have learned all the basic things of computer networks. In second chapter you have learned the network security, web services, and as well as e-commerce payment. In this session you'll be learning how data is transferring inside the network, and then next 2 sessions you'll be learning all the recaps of all the computer networks unit. Be careful with this 2-3 videos. It is very important because all recaps will be given. So whenever any recap is given, if you are very conscious with that recap chapter, even at the time of teaching the concepts, if you did not understand, in this recap you will be understanding. That's the reason I'm saying this. And then another important thing is, if you miss out anything at the time of teaching, you'll be understanding now. That is another reason. And then one more thing I wanted to say is, another important thing I wanted to say is, you have learned all the abbreviations already. Like yesterday's previous session, I have sent all the 100 abbreviations. I hope you would have learned all those 100 abbreviations. At this end of the session, let me ask questions from that abbreviations. Let me check your thing, how you have learned. We'll continue with this animation video. Look at this. In this video, it is given like how packets are sending inside the network.
For the first time in history, people and machinery are working together, realizing a dream. A uniting force that knows no geographical boundaries without regard to race, creed, or color. A new era where communication truly brings people together. This is the dawn of the net. Want to know how it works? Click here to begin your journey into the net.
Look at this. If you click on that thing, the data will be, after typing a text, if you are clicking on that submit button, how the data will be divided into number of packets. That animation is given. After making a packet, each packet will be getting a separate IP address. And see, look at this. It is getting all those things, IP address and then packet number, as well as source address, destination address, everything will be mentioned. You can identify that what are the things will be written inside that packet. After that, see, look at this. It is highly secured. After making all those things, it is sending inside the network. See, each and every packet is going inside the network with all the information. After that, see, it is going inside the network with any see, it is called packet crashing.
The highway of the land is packed with all types of information. These are IP packets, Novell packets, Apple Talk packets. They're going against traffic, as usual. The local router reads the address and, if necessary, lifts the packet onto another network. The router, a symbol of control in a seemingly disorganized world. Sorry about that, and is packed with all types of information. These are IP packets, Novell packets, Apple Talk packets. They're going against traffic, as usual. The local router reads the address and, if necessary, lifts the packet onto another network. The router, a symbol of control in a seemingly disorganized world.
This is the router which will be picking the packet and it will be sending to the respective IP address. See the functionality of the router, you'll be understanding very clearly. See, router will be picking the respective packets for the respective IP address and it will be sending.
Sometimes not quite up to speed, but at least he is exact, for the most part. As the packets leave the router, they make their way into the corporate intranet and head for the router switch. A bit more efficient than the router switch plays fast and loose with IP packets, deftly routing them
So the
along
next
their way.
thing is router
A digital
switch.
pinball wizard, if you will.
Here we go. Here comes another one. And it's another one. Watch this, Mom.
It will be sending the packet to the respective IP address. So look at this, how it is directing.
He scores. It's going. Hey, wait. Hey, watch out. Here comes another one. Oh, here we go. And it's gone.
As packets arrive at their destination, they're picked up by the network interface, ready to be sent to the next level. In this case, the proxy. The proxy is used by many companies as sort of a middleman in order to lessen the load on their internet connection, and for security reasons as well. As you can see, the packets are all of various sizes, depending upon their content. The proxy opens the packet and looks for the web address, or URL. Depending upon whether the address is acceptable, the packet is sent on to the internet. There are, however, some addresses which do not meet with the approval of the proxy, that is to say, corporate or management guidelines. These are summarily dealt with. We'll have none of that. For those who make it, it's on the road again. Next up, the firewall. The corporate firewall serves two purposes. It prevents some rather nasty things from the internet from coming into the intranet, and it can also prevent sensitive corporate information from being sent out onto the internet. Once through the firewall, a router picks up the packet and places it onto a much narrower road, or bandwidth, as we say. Obviously, the road is not broad enough to take them all. Now you might wonder what happens to all those packets which don't make it along the way. Well, when Mr. IP doesn't receive an acknowledgement that a packet has been received in due time, he simply sends a replacement packet. we are now ready to enter the world of the Internet. A spider web of interconnected networks which span our entire globe. Here, routers and switches establish links between networks. Now, the net is an entirely different environment than you'll find within the protected walls of your LAN. Out here, it's the Wild West. Plenty of space, plenty of opportunities, plenty of things to explore and places to go. Thanks to very little control and regulation, new ideas find fertile soil to push the envelope of their possibilities. But because of this freedom, certain dangers also lurk. You'll never know when you'll meet the dreaded ping of death. A special version of a normal request ping, which some idiot thought up to mess up unsuspecting hosts. The paths our packets take may be via satellite, telephone lines, wireless, or even transoceanic cable. They don't always take the fastest or shortest routes possible, but they will get there. Eventually. Maybe that's why it's sometimes called the worldwide wait. But when everything is working smoothly, you can circumvent the globe 5 times over at the drop of a hat. Literally. And all for the cost of a local call or less. Near the end of our destination, we'll find another firewall.
Destination also we
Depending
have
upon
one
your
more firewall.
perspective as a data packet, the firewall could be a bastion of security or a dreaded adversary. It all depends on which side you're on and what your intentions are. The firewall is designed to let in only those packets that meet its criteria. This firewall is operating on ports 80 and 25. All attempts to enter through other ports are closed for business.
This 80, 25, all those are ports, firewall ports.
Port 25 is used for mail packets, while port 80 is the entrance for packets from the internet to the web server. Inside the firewall, packets are screened more thoroughly. Some packets make it easily through customs, while others look just a bit dubious. Now, the firewall officer is not easily fooled, such as when this ping of death packet tries to disguise itself as a normal ping packet.
It's okay, Noam. It's okay. No problem. Have a nice day. We out here. Bye.
For those packets lucky enough to make it this far, the journey is almost over. It's just a lineup on the interface to be taken up into the web server. Nowadays, a web server can run on many things, from a mainframe to a webcam to the computer on your desk. Why not your refrigerator? With a proper setup, you can find out if you have the makings for chicken cacciatore or if you have to go shopping. Remember, this is the dawn of the net. Almost anything's possible. One by one, the packets are received, opened, and unpacked. The information they contain, that is, your request for information, is sent on to the web server application. The packet itself is recycled, ready to be used again, and filled with your requested information. Addressed and sent past the firewall, routers, and on through to the internet. Back through your corporate firewall. And onto your interface. Ready to supply your web browser with the information you requested. That is, this film. Pleased with their efforts and trusting in a better world, our trusty data packets ride off blissfully into the sunset of another day, knowing fully they have served.
I hope you will be understanding this. See how packets are dividing and how it is going inside the network, how much security constraints it is satisfying, and it is reaching to the destination. Just will be imagining that message will be going as it is, so no possible no props we can send the message unnecessarily, like that we people will be thinking and will be sending inside the network. See how much things are happening inside the network. If you are sending a message, that message, original message, will be divided into number of packets, and each and every data will be dumped inside a packet, and to that packet separate IP address, that is source address, destination address, packet number, everything will be assigned, and then only it will be sending inside the network. After sending inside the network, all packets, all protocols will be running, and our source router will be there. In that that router will be picking the packets, and it will be giving to the router will be picking the packets, and it will be giving to the router switch will be directing the packets into the network. After that it will be passing to the firewall will be checking the validation of all those things. After that it will be going to the proxy will be checking all those things, and if and proxy will be checking the URL. If that particular URL is present, that again that packet will be forwarded inside the network, or otherwise it will be crashed there itself. And then again, after going inside the network, depending upon the data what we are sending, it will be checked and it will be sending inside the firewall, and then again it will be sending inside the port. If it is a web related thing, it will be going to 80 port. If it is more mail port, it will be going to 25. So depending upon the data what we are sending inside the packet, it will be going to the respective port. After that again it will be reaching to the firewall, it will be validating, again it will be going to the router will be picking the packet, and it will be sending to the respective thing. Finally the packets will be opened, and the data from the packets will be taken. One more important concept you want to know in this: assembling and reassembling of packets also will be happening, but in this video it was not that much clear. But assembling and reassembling of packets will be happened, that is, it will be arranged in destination side before opening the packet. That process also will happen. So you just understand the complicated process, what it is happening inside the network. As a computer students, at least you should use the internet properly, and you advise all your surroundings not to use internet unnecessarily. See how much complicated process is happening. So this is a very virtual view of how data sending inside the network and how data is transferring inside the network. I hope you will be understanding the importance of TCP, IP, UDP. All those protocols are helpful to perform this process. Let me ask questions from that abbreviations. First question is, what does IP stands for? TCP stands for? UDP, CDMA, TDMA, SIM, SLIP, PPP, POP3, STP, NCP, ASP, JSP. That's all today's question. I hope meantime whenever I was asking question, you would have answered that question. Even if you don't know, just recap of all those things. Definitely you'll have test on those things. Okay, we'll continue with the next session. Thank you.